Stop shagging men. That's the line that has sparked a massive whirlwind of a political and media frenzy between Senator David Leyonhjelm and Senator Sarah Hanson-Young. If you don't know the full story, I'll let the senators tell you their story from their point of view.
Earlier today, during the motion relating to violence against women, Senator Leyonhjelm yelled an offensive and sexist slur at me across the chamber. After the vote on the motion was complete, I walked over to the senator and confronted him directly. I asked whether I had heard him correctly. He confirmed that he had yelled, "You should stop shagging men, Sarah." Shocked, I told him that he was a creep. His reply was to tell me to off. I informed the Leader of the Greens and he has raised it with both Senator Leyonhjelm and the President. I'm disappointed that the Senator has refused to apologise for this offensive and sexist slur, and I call on him to formally withdraw and apologise directly.
Senator, are you prepared to apologise now for your comments?
No, absolutely not. I'm not apologising for anything. I stand by it. I am opposed to misandry and I am opposed to double standards.
You were casting aspersions on her private life. That's the part people want you to apologise for.
I made no comment whatsoever on Sarah Hanson-Young's private life other than to point out that there were two standards being applied here. On the one hand, she said all men are responsible for sexual assault, the words to the effect of all men are rapists, and on the other hand, she's known for having boyfriends, which is perfectly okay, and I pointed out the discrepancy.
Okay, so the gist of it is that during the vote, Hanson-Young made a comment in regards to women wouldn't need protection if men weren't rapists. Leyonhjelm responded with something to the effect of, "If they're all rapists, then stop shagging them, Sarah." Then, after the vote, she came and asked him what he said it again, and she called him a creep. Then he told her to fuck off. The major problems here are that Hanson-Young is denying saying anything to that effect, and Leyonhjelm is lying about it, whereas Leyonhjelm has outright admitted to the words he spoke. This was her response.
So can I get your reaction to those comments, Sarah?
Well, it's extremely disappointing and I think incredibly unbecoming of a Member of Parliament. I think this is not just a slur on me and my character, but an action and a total disrespect for all women and total disrespect for the institution of the Parliament. He's bringing the Parliament into disrepute. And I just want to put it really clearly that I never said those comments. I never inferred them. I do not believe them, and I do not believe that to be true, and it's a lie.
The only other person present that seemed to hear most of the parley was Senator Darren Hinch, who tweeted out. She said something like, "Women wouldn't need pepper spray if men weren't rapists." So now it seems to be the argument is that she didn't say the word all. She didn't say all men, just men. And this is not the first time Hanson-Young has said something like this, with phrasing that seems to paint all men with a broad brush. Check out this clip from Sunrise.
I think women around this country are sick and tired of being made to feel responsible for the fact that men cannot control themselves and deal with their own issues. It is not women's fault that men behave like morons and like pigs.
So, as you can see, it can be easily confused. When she says men, she means men in general. That's the use of the word there. So to fix that, I have a slight solution to this, and that's to change the words a bit. Now, if we take what Darren Hinch said and just change one thing, there. Much better. Women wouldn't need pepper spray if they weren't rapists. Boom! No one's feelings hurt, and now it's more accurate. But that still doesn't change the fact that the accusations have been made and the situation is now going legal, with Hanson-Young still standing by her statement that Leyonhjelm is lying. A man historically has always been a straight shooter, quite literally, and he's not known for lying. He has a history of owning up to what he has said, even when he knows he's going to cop backlash from it. And it would get even more complicated if someone pointed out the hypocrisy of Hanson-Young being offended at a statement she took as a sexual slur, when she herself has verbally attacked Leyonhjelm before. Check it out.
I find it galling to be told by a middle-aged bloke in this place that it is not a legitimate service to offer support for working mums in terms of paying for childcare.
In many cases, the money is coming from the taxes of people who are earning far less than that. It leaves less money in the budget to help people who who genuinely need help.
And here we have a middle-aged bloke in this place telling professional working mothers that they don't deserve support in childcare. Is a middle-aged white guy drawing a huge wage from the taxpayer.
Nobody has the right to treat a woman like this with such sexist slurs just because they couldn't win the argument on sound facts.
So that's sexist, racist, and what, ageist? You gotta keep it fair for both sides. Either it's all okay, or none of it's okay. But congratulations, mainstream media, you've successfully shown how only one side of the conversation actually matters, rather than giving both sides equal treatment. Now, off that drama and onto the bigger facts here. It keeps being brought up that women shouldn't have to defend themselves. Instead, we should be teaching our boys and men not to sexually assault and murder women. See, I must have missed that lesson in school when they told us that it was okay to do that. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Obviously, we're told it's not okay. In fact, as a nation, we're so against it that we've got laws against it. No, this behavior is not okay, and no one in their right minds is condoning it. But to blame all men for crimes like this is sexist, ignorant, and alienating. Crimes like this are committed by messed up, deviant, depraved people who know it's wrong, but they don't care. They are pathetic, broken human beings. By the way, the whole shagging incident happened during a vote to allow women to carry personal protection in order to defend themselves should the need occur. And the overall vote ended up being 46-5 against that vote. I think women should be allowed to carry something like pepper spray for self-defense, and I think there should be harsher punishments for offenders. I have an idea for this situation. Ask Senator Hanson-Young to condone the idea that all men are collectively responsible for violence against women, and that the individual committing the crime is responsible for their actions. Then ask Senator Leyonhjelm to apologize for his inappropriate use of the wording in the Senate, and then the comments about her personal life in the various interviews he did after the fact. Then everyone will be happy. But those things were probably never going to happen, so we'll just have to see how this goes. Which is probably to court. Now, I don't agree with how Leyonhjelm acted in the Senate, nor how he dealt with the situation afterwards. I believe he should have acted a bit more tactfully and probably used a different choice of words. However, calling out another senator for hypocrisy is something I can understand. He's not slut-shaming, he's not sexist. The dude's just an asshole. On the same note though, I do not agree with Hanson-Young's statements that women shouldn't protect themselves and lumping all men into the same barrel, believing every male is bad. And while I have nothing against her as a senator, if this does go to court, I hope that her case gets struck down. The last thing we need is a precedent for cases that subjectively upset another person. Context matters, and intent matters. But that's my opinion, and I know you'd love to give me yours, so leave it in a comment. I'd be happy to discuss it. Well, that's all from me. Have a good one, and I'll catch you next time. Oh, and just quickly, I believe every sexual predator should be thrown into a fire.